Good day. You're welcome back to the AutoCAD class. I guess we have been practicing. In our last class, we talked about dimensioning, multi-leaders, and we added text to our drawing. So now we're going to come to section and auxiliary view. Now, in our last class, we actually drew our auxiliary view. Our auxiliary view talks about the plan, the end view, the elevation, right? So this time we're just going to continue with creating a 2D section object. Now, if you come to the AutoCAD, we already have a 2D object that we've drawn, right? Now, to show when you section through, it's cutting through the drawing. Let's say this is supposed to be a hole, and we cut through this part now, which we're saying this is a okay. This is the elevation, and this is the plan. This hole that we have that is passing through, right? So this is the elevated part. This is the plan. Let's say we cut through here. If we cut through here, or we cut through this to look at it from the plan. I'm trying to see the easiest way for us to see it. If we're looking at it from the plan, and we'll cut through here. Let's rule a line to cut through. I'll come and rule a line to cut through. Okay, say I'm cutting through here. Enter. If I'm cutting through here to see it at the plan, we cut off this part. That means this, let's look at it carefully. That means this line will become visible. This will become visible, right? This part will be cut off. This part will be cut off. Now, you need to be very careful because this line will no longer appear. This line will not appear because this line is representing this edge, right? Because we're cutting through here, right? Okay, now let me do it in a way that it will be clearer for us. I'm just going to cut through the middle. I'm going to change my layout to so that you see. Let's use a visible color now. To let me use outline 2. Now I'll draw a line. Let's say passing through. We're cutting through here. Enter. I'm going to extend it a little. Now, if we're cutting through here, to look at it from the plan, that means we've cut off this area. Let me draw a box to signify the area that you will not see in this drawing, right? That means this area up here is cut off. So if we're looking at it at the plan here, that means that line that was there, that's this point, I've already removed it. This point is off the line. Now, to hatch this, we'll come to draw. Let me bring out my menu bar. My menu bar, actually, I changed my workspace before. That's when my menu bar went off. So show menu bar. Now, I can come to draw in the menu bar and come to hatch, right? That is one way you can get to it. Because whenever you section, you hatch it to show that a part is cut off. Or I can simply come to the ribbon. You see this symbol in the ribbon now. This is the hatch symbol. This is the same symbol you have here, right? That's the hatch. So this is a symbol that we have. Now, if I select hatch, you observe that my ribbon will change. My ribbon has changed, right? Any space I want to hatch, if I click on it, it will hatch the space for me, right? Now, look at the ribbon. These are different patterns that we have on the ribbon. Now, when you come to the ribbon, it depends what you want to hatch with. You have various patterns, right? These are the various patterns. When you click this arrow pointer to bring out the various patterns for you. Now, we're going to use the NA. We're going to use the, sorry about that. We're going to use the ANS 121, right? If I click on this, you see now it has changed, right? Now, we have hashed. Now the patterns, at times when you have your drawing, when you have your drawings, At times your drawing may be too small or too large. You can either scale up to reduce the number of lines. And you see when you're hatching for the pattern we're using the ANS 131. You see the pattern we're using now is okay for this drawing. But if we needed to increase the numbers of hatch lines, we can scale it up or scale it down. Now, let me see if I'm scaling it down to 0.5, what happens? Now, it's approximately 1. Okay, let's increase to 2. You see, it has increased, right? For my drawing, I can't go below 3.5, below 1, right? That's why it's giving me, because I took it to precision while I was doing my using a wizard. So I'm just continuing from where we stop in each class. So the AutoCAD settings that we did from the very beginning is still what we're having. You can see if I'm using 2 down, scale 2 is not okay for me. Let me just come back to 1. Right, this is okay with this. When you're done, you come and close the hatch. But for now, this line is no longer hidden. So I'm just going to remove it and rule. You see, I'm having the challenge. I should have just done it first, right? So I'm going to just undo so that it will come back. Then I'll just click and draw my line, enter, right click and repeat line. I'm done. So now, for clarity, you may not necessarily use the same layers that you use for your drawing for the hatching. You can decide to create a default layer that you'll be using for the hatching. So now let me just add a layer to it that I'm going to be using for hatching now. Add, I just type hatch lines, what I'll be using for my hatch lines. Hatch lines. Now it doesn't have to, it has to be continuous. Then the weight. The weight is not supposed to be it's not supposed to be like the thickness is not supposed to be as thick as the outline, right? So I'm going to take it to 0.15. Okay. So I'll close. Now I'll select my hatch. You see, once you select the hatch, now let's explain something here. If you look at when we were treating array, I told you to always look out for associative, right? Now, let me come and change the layers first before we come back there. I'll change it to what I just created, hatch lines. All right. Now my ribbon is still there, hatch editor. Now, let me deselect this associative and close. See, right? I can come back here. Though I've deselected the associative, right? I can always change my pattern if I want to, depending on my drawing, right? Let's see this option if we have options here. Separate hatch. Now I've separated them. They're no longer together. You can see now I've separated them. The hatch are separate. You know, they're separate. Unlike before that, when I did the hatching, I just have to, once I click, both of them will be highlighted. Now I've made them independent. Right. So let's continue. Now let's say this area, I want to hatch this area, but I want it solid, right? So I'll come to hatch. I'll pick on solid and click. Now I can actually also come to the properties and change the colors of the layers I want to use. So let me take it to the white. Any color I want to use, red. Now this is property. You can change from there, right? Now every other part I can, okay, let's just play with it. You see, I'm doing solid hatching. doing solid hatching now, right? Now, based on the drawing, let me let me come back here and say separate hatch so that they will not all be together. Let's close. Now, I want to remove this. I don't need, because based on the drawing, this part is supposed to be a hole, right? That's this hole as seen here. There's supposed to be a hole under, right? That means in this drawing that we did, there was something missing here. It was supposed to have another hidden line that was to tell us about this hole under, this line under, right? So let's continue. This part is what we're seeing up here now. This part removed, being removed. That's what we're seeing up here. That's how to use the solid. Now, if I click anyone now, you see it takes me back for me to edit. I can actually also remove, let me write enter. If now I can select, I can remove anyone I want to remove. So let me end this so that we'll see what I'm saying, right? I can actually pick a point. Now, the reason why this is the boundary that I was talking about. I actually removed the boundary here for this. I removed the boundary when I did that, right? But you don't need to worry about this. I just talked about it so that you know you can actually select. You can see, it's showing me boundaries. Let's right click. Let me remove, right click, enter. Now, let's close. Let's look at this part. These are confusion that you must try to avoid, right? Because I'm trying to make you see that at times people just temper with what they're not supposed to temper with at times. Let me delete this, right? I'll click this now. I'll say solid. See, let me pick. I'm trying to hash. See, now, if I must hash this again, I have to close and come back to hatch to give me new option, right? Because to remove at times you need to delete by yourself. This remove may not actually remove boundaries for you, right? See, it's bringing me back. The boundary I wanted to remove is not going to show because I already have a drawing, a frame that I'm what? Hatching. So it's not going to remove the boundary for me. So let's close this. Let's go back to our outline. I'm trying to follow the outline and to try and keep the time. Okay, adding patterns. We've done adding patterns. The cutting plane, that's what I was trying to explain to us. The cutting plane, you know, when you're giving a drawing, maybe when we get to 3D, you see this more, this cutting plane, because you have to cut through a plane. That's what I was trying to explain to us. Using this is the plan. Our cutting through from the elevation. When we cut through the elevation, we will not see the complete top again, right? So if we are cutting from here for this, right? Let's say we cut through this part down. I want to draw the right hand side, right? Let me copy this. I'll just copy selection. I'll place it by this side. Now let's delete all this hatch that I put to explain what I want to explain now. Now, if we're drawing from the left, let me see. I want to see how I can. If we're drawing this part, right? let's say, let me use the polyline to show what the arrow I want to put. Okay. Sorry, I will not do that's too big. Let me start again. Width, enter. I'll just put 10, enter, and 0, enter. Now I'll copy this, copy selection and take up. Now, if we're doing this drawing and they said this our line, right? This our direction, it should go towards our right. That is when we will see this part. That is when this part will be inclusive in this drawing. But if it's the opposite side, so let's hatch this now. What are we going to get when we hatch this? When we hatch this, we're going to see this. Okay, I actually did this wrongly. This part is not there. That's supposed to be a hole. Now let me just remove all the hatching that I did here to explain this further. Now, if we're looking at it from this side now, this is the cut plane. This is the plane they've cut through. So we are to draw it towards, we are to view it from our left to right. So I'll copy this and just place by the side too to explain if we're doing it the other way around, right? So let me place it on this side. Aha, place it here. Enter. Now we're viewing from left to right. Let's hatch this now. I'm going to use a pattern, not, okay, normal hatch. We'll see this. Let's look at it carefully. This will not be so. This we will not see this. This will remain as hidden line. So this, since we're cutting through, this will remain as hidden line, right? It will remain as hidden line. So we're going to hatch it still. We'll hatch here, hatch here, hatch here. I click enter because we're going to see it as hidden lines, right? We'll see it because to show us that there is a hole inside. Now, if it's the other way around, let me rotate this. I'll rotate, okay. If we're seeing it from this side, just let me also rotate this, sorry. Now, if I'm looking at it from this side, this may disturb, so let me just remove it. If we're looking at it from right to left, we're not going to see this at all. We won't see this at all, but we're going to see this space. We'll see it, this space like this, right? We're not going to see this side because it's cut through here. So the plane which is cut through matters a lot. So if we're hatching this now, if I come to hatch, so it's going to be like this. Enter. You're seeing now, same object, but your cut plane of sectioning varies where you are viewing from. If you are viewing from left to right, we'll see it on the right the way I've hashed it now. If you are viewing from right to left, you see the way I've hashed it because it is cut through. Some parts will definitely not appear in the drawing. Thank you. So let's continue. Now we've done solid fields. So I'm going to give us some exercises to go and do. Let us try and draw patterns. Let's draw shapes, then cut through, right? When we'll still continue, when we start doing our 3D, we'll get to a place where we'll do sectioning. AutoCAD will automatically section it for us. That is basically 2D that we've done, all the classes we've done is basically 2D. Now, don't get carried away yet. Everything we've done in 2D, almost all of them we're going to need them in 3D. Now you've learned how to draw basic shapes, you've learned how to draw components in 2D. Now in 3D, you still need those tools because in 3D, you do 2D drawings. From there, you go to, you model it into 3D, right? So gentlemen, we're going to go into 3D now. So I'll come back. Now let's save this drawing. Let's save this drawing, right? Let's save this. I've been saving each class. We started with that was class 7 we stopped. So I'm going to go to file, save as. I'm going to save this as class 8. I'll save it as class 8. That means we've had 8 classes so far. So I'll type 8, then save. So this is class 8 that we've done. So now, what I'm going to do now, I want to introduce us to 3D. We're going to go to the 3D workspace now. While we were doing understanding the interface, I showed us that we can change our workspaces in the status bar and in the quick access ribbon. So let's go to the one in the quick access ribbon. You come to drafting and annotation, you click, there will be a drop down, you see 3D basic. I explained to us last time, we're not going to use 3D basic, we're going to go straight to 3D modeling because all the tools we have in 3D basics are in 3D modeling and much more. So we just pick 3D modeling, you see my workspace will change. Our workspace will change. So now I'll come down to my command line. I told us last time, my command line, I don't want it to be building up into the workspace while I'm working. So I'll come to the left side, the uh, graphic kind of look, what we have like graphic kind of look here, we just pick it and drag it down to spread. Now it has spread. Another thing that we need to bring back is our menu bar. The last time I just came to the quick access ribbon and click on this arrow. I can actually use my keyboard like I told us before. I just type menu bar, single word, enter. It's 0 in the command line. In the command line, you see it as 0 because it switched off. So I'll type figure 1 and enter. Voila, my menu bar is back. So now let's look at this interface now. What I'm going to simply do, I'm going to do this now. Okay, I'll just pan away. Let me right click and go to pan and shift so that I have a clean slate. Wait, okay, I don't think that will be actually okay for me. So I'll save. I'm going to save again because I'm keeping tabs on us. Every class I teach, I save. Now that we have entered 3D, so let me just save, go to save as again. First, before I move, so that what I've done will remain, I'll first of all save. I want to change the name. I'll come to File, Save As again. This time I'll just add 3D to the front, 3D. You can see I have 8 there to 3D, save, and I'll just do Control A to select all and delete. I want to have a clean slate. Now, if you look at my ribbon now, my ribbon has changed. Now you have what we call the primitives. This is the primitive, the box, the cylinder, the cone, the sphere, the pyramid. When you are drawing in 3D, basically all these shapes come together to form the various shapes that we have. So now, when you are drawing in 3D, your eyes will have to be in 3 places. The first place is your visual control. Why will your eye be in visual control? Because we're going to change now from top to go to isometry, right? If we click isometry, The next place where will be is your UCS, your user coordinate system. Now you see your Z axis have appeared. The next place your eye need to be in is your command line. So, but while we're drawing 2D, our eyes were just strictly on command line while we're drawing 2D. Now that we're in 3D, our eyes will always have to be in three places: the visual controls, the user coordinate system, and our command line. Whenever we are working, those things change along the line when we carry out any basic operation. So you need to check. Or when you're stuck, you're trying to carry out a function, or you are trying to carry out an activity and it's not working for you, you quickly look at those three places: the visual controls, your user coordinate system, and your command line. By the time you check those three places, you will know what you need to do next. So we're just going to start with this. Now you observe that I just deleted, so my layers are still there, right? My layers are still here. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to create more layers. This time, I realized I didn't create, I was using my 0 layer for my construction line. I'm going to create 3 more construction line. I do that most times when I'm doing my drawings, I create up to 5, because as the drawing becomes complicated, I have to be switching off some layers, switching off some layers. So by the time I switch them off, I will have a clear drawing to see. Now, the thing I'm going to do, I don't need these hash lines anymore. So I'll come to properties, come to property. Now, I'll come to property first. Instead of deleting this, I'll just rename it. Let me just rename it to, I'll right click and rename construction line. Construction line 1. Now I'll reduce the line weight. Let me reduce it to 0.09, right? To be the same default with my center line. Then I'll click again and do construction line 2. Line 2. And let me do a tail one and stop there. Wow, okay. I'll right click now because it just jumped. Rename as a construction line, sorry, line 3. All right, fine. So I think I'm okay with that. Then I'm going to set the construction line 1 as my current and close. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to start drawing our primitives. In this class today, let's quickly see how we can draw all the primitives. Okay, maybe we just, because of time, we just draw 1 or 2, because I want to try and limit this class to 30 minutes each. But I'll just draw the first one. Now, I'll come to, we'll be doing more. We're doing more with our ribbon now, right? You know, then I used to tell us go to draw. This time you don't see all the solid materials in your draw. So we just come to solid our modeling. We'll come to modeling in the menu bar, right? You see modeling. Then I'll click on box. Want to draw a box first. Then once I click on box, it will ask me to look at the command line, specify first corner point, right? Now, I can click anywhere, right? Or I can decide to use value to get to a location where I can start from, right? Now, I told you I don't encourage cramming. So most times, I'll just click anywhere. But when you're doing your design, you know where you stop, you know how to use your lines to get to where you stop. But now that we're doing 3D, we'll do more of line and location later while we continue with the drawing. So I'll just click anywhere here. Once I click, it's asking me to specify the other corner point. You're seeing just the way we did it there in our rectangle. Now it's asking me to specify other corner point, right? Now, I'll just click arbitrarily. Then the next thing will ask me for height. Now observe this. If I move up, it will give me value. If I move down, it will give me value, right? I can move up or move down to click. Now let me click up here. This I've just drawn without any values, right? Now I'm going to redraw now, but this time I'm going to use values. Let me right click, repeat box. Now I'll say specify point, I'll say 0, 0, enter, right? That's taking me, you can see now, that's taking me to 0, 0. Now I'm going to type, I want it to draw for me, I'm not drawing a cube. You can see the command line is saying specify other corner point or cube or length. So I'll just type L, enter. The way we're typing for dimension for our rectangle, but this time I just type L, enter. So now observe this. I will make sure I'm following my polar tracking line. If I put it like this, it's going to draw it to follow that path. So I'll bring my mouse down to follow that line. My length, I'm going to put, let me put 200 for length, enter. Now it's asking me for width. Width, I'll put 100, enter. It's asking me for height. I'll put 30. So let me put 300, 300, enter. Now, you notice that it has drawn it down because my mouse was pointing down. Now, when you have an issue like this, you don't need to panic. Let's just go straight. We can edit by property. I'll select it, right click, come to property. Now in the property, I'll come down to geometry. Now you're seeing 300 for my height. Now all I need to do is to put minus sign, it will change direction. If I put minus and enter, you see it has changed the direction. So when you have issues like that, you don't need to bother. You don't need to redraw. You just go to select the object, right click, go to property and change the direction of the height from, it's always, now it's showing me, you can see it's still showing me plus 300. If I put a minus sign again in the front and enter to change it. So with the minus, when you put minus sign in the front, you're just trying to change direction, change to the opposite, right? So that is for that. Now, let's do this now. I'm going to move. I'll select this object, right click, come to move. It asks me to pick from a point. I'll pick from here and bring it up here. So when you're also drawing in 3D, you can make use of the move. We're going to stop here today. Thank you very much. We'll continue from here in our next class.